My name is John Primrose. I'm Director of Human Resources here at Park Cities Presbyterian Church. We are facilitating anyone that gets involved in any of our ministries to share their story of rescue, how God is coming in their life and transforming their life. And that's what we're a church, and we think the Bible is the key to that. So we have a lot of ministry activities that expand on God's Word and in a very relational way.
I'm Artie Aldrich, Director of Finance with Park Cities Presbyterian Church. We have challenges from an operational perspective, systems that are not the most efficient with the current times, and so we've had a lot of changes in that area. And we're a mission organization. We like to fund missions outside of this church as well as meet the needs of the church. And so cost, are always a challenge.
The way that we are growing is we have to have a budget to support our ministry growth in addition to the staff that also work with our volunteers. And so one of the constraints we have with our staff is if we have continually escalating expenses for our benefits expenses, it takes money away from our ministry program budgets.
IBTX and Joe have come in to try to help us to find ways to meet the needs of the staff. How do we meet the needs of a very diverse staff of both young and older staff? They have very different needs, and so we try to do that, try to meet their benefit needs, but still try to control the costs at the same time.
I've worked with brokers and the other organizations I mentioned, large public, other private companies. I have never worked with a brokerage that is as relentless as IBTX in following up, asking how it's going, and then asking probing questions about what can we do better, what's working, what's not. And it's not a once-a-year renewal, it's year-round. And I think that aligns perfectly with some of our internal core values.
We're small enough to where it only takes a couple of large claims to really hurt a staff of the size that we are. And we've had that a couple of times. A couple of years ago, we had a 45% healthcare increase. And so, again, we're right back to that takes money away from the ministry. And so we were desperate for finding a different solution because we couldn't continue to see how putting that much more into healthcare costs specifically, that wasn't something that we could entertain long term. So IBTX brought us a solution to look at a captive self-funding arrangement so that we could actually control our costs better.
We were looking a year ago for a different solution because it wasn't sustainable what we were doing. The renewals kept escalating and we keep squeezing the amount of our overall budget that we can put toward ministry because it keeps growing for benefits. The reason I share that, we're in a position where we're willing to try something different. So we trusted Joe enough when we met and ultimately decided to go with the group captive. I don't think that we would have been able to do that if we weren't working with IBTX because we knew that, again, it would be relentless to help make it work. And now, after we've been in it, seeing that it's working is very powerful because it's, again, helping us be predictable in our benefit expenses, but also at the same time, it's helping us still attract and retain staff. So that is critical because it's got to work both financially and from a care perspective. It's got to be quality care, and those are both the things that we're seeing as a benefit of the group captive.
Well, I think the reason why we do business with IBTX is we've had a 20-year relationship with IBTX and Joe specifically, and they have always been there not only to help us to balance our financial needs, but also with our employees. They've always gone to bat for our employees when they've had problems with their claims, with problems with a hospital, or they have always been there. We have multi-language staff, and they have people that help take care of that. So it feels like that they're going to be there all the time to meet whatever need and challenge that we come up against.
we want to make sure we have consistency in relationships. So we align perfectly on that note. So if somebody's looking for a broker and they want someone that's going to be relentless and help them retain their staff and maintain a financial growth trajectory that's going to be beneficial for their business and the quality of care their staff's going to get and the outcomes, then they should talk to IBTX.